This is Critical Commentary with Maurice Williams. Today we're going to discuss the Cartier boys and then get into some reactions for you guys. Blacks, Hispanics, and whites can't read. Why you think I started a podcast? It's a fucking racist thing with you niggas, and that's why I'm coming at you niggas next. They love to talk about black violence. Have you heard of white violence? White people commit violent crime at 3 times the rate of Asians. When is Nick Fuentes going to talk about white violence? Everybody's arguing about their 2 genders. I sat next to her hermaphrodite in math class. Am I allowed to talk about the Jews? If she wanted, we could do it in the morning. Yawning, letting my eyes stretch, baby, I ain't a novice. I've been a dog, she FaceTime, but I never call. So, the Cartier boys, if some of you are not familiar, are a group of guys who do reactions, and they've been pushing a lot of conservative and Republican talking points. But as I was doing some digging, I found out that they started off more liberal, possibly voting Democratic. So I'm going to play this for you guys so that you can see them at their beginning, and then I'm going to discuss where they are now in the political space. This is actually their first video. It says Cartier Family at a BLM protest.
To fucking end, everyone needs to realize that no lives matter unless Black lives matter first. It's absolutely insane.
It's crazy. How do you feel about it?
It's unjust. It needs to end, and people need to realize that racism is ingrained into the U.S. It's way bigger than all of this. This is just the surface. This is just what we see.
Y'all showing me your signs? Let me see your signs. Thank you for coming out. I appreciate y'all, man. That's good answers, y'all. I appreciate it.
I go to UL.
Never seen y'all. Hey, tell them how you feel about the situation, bro. This whole situation.
Man, I think it's some bullshit, dog. Like, they always trying to fucking, like, what's the word for it? I don't know really the word to use for, but like, for people like y'all, man, like they just violent towards y'all for no fucking reason. Like, it's bullshit. Y'all get pulled over, y'all go 9 times out of 10 y'all going to jail. I get pulled over, like I'm gonna get a ticket. Like, that's just how it be. That's just how it is, man. And it's bullshit. And like, I don't know, I think a lot of this shit ain't gonna do nothing, to be honest. This protest and shit, and like that shit they doing up in Minneapolis, that riot and shit, that's what they need to do here. Yeah. That's what I came here for.
That seems like that's the only thing that's being
fight fire with fire.
Yeah, bro, how you feel?
We've been peaceful this entire time, and it really doesn't make sense to the fact where it was 411 years of slavery, and they gave us like 40 years to actually bounce back from that, nigga. What y'all expect to do? Y'all cages up for so long. Y'all think we not gonna act like animals now?
Facts.
Exactly.
It's crazy, bro, how they do us, bro.
For real.
We might be straight. Oh, yeah. It's a good deed on my dogs, man. All right, man. That's what I'm talking about. Beautiful sight to see. It's a beautiful sight to see out my dogs, man. Beautiful sight to see. That's how we end the protest, y'all.
Help the people.
That's how we end the protest. Tell them, hey.
You know, blacks is going through, we all got to be unified, you feel me?
Yeah, tell them.
And he appreciated it too, man. He said, hey, man, he appreciated it too, man. That's love right there, man. I for real think that man just got out of jail, bro, because I could see him carrying his little commissary and stuff in a little clear bag, so it's all good. Todd, what you got to say for the cam, man?
Just gonna pray for that man.
You feel me? We gonna pray for everybody today, man. Y'all see what we just experienced. You know what I mean? We just came back from the protest, marching back. We gonna get it up.
Hey, y'all like, comment, subscribe, man. That was a good protest today. We fought for the black power, man. We gonna do some more.
Now, that video was 5 years ago, and as you can see, they were at a BLM protest. For those of you who don't remember, that was when George Floyd died at the hands of a cop. Some believe at the hands of a police officer having his knee on George Floyd's neck for 8 minutes. Others believe that it was due to a fentanyl overdose. But at this rally protest, the members of the Cartier family were pro-black, as you heard one of them say, and they said blacks need to stick together. So that's a stark difference from how they are now, pushing Republican politics and conservative talking points. So I'm going to play a clip to highlight how they are now promoting a different agenda just a couple years later. As you can see just from the title of this video, is Black Fatigue, which is a talking point that the right often uses, saying that black people are causing problems in society and whites are tired of it.
Smith, can you
she's going through some things.
Yeah, she is.
She's
Charlie,
she's having some personal issues.
Yeah. This is a classroom though, bro.
Yeah, so
classroom.
obviously something happened during the class. Like I said, her feelings got hurt, and she just has refused to drop it. Like, she's still explaining it to the teacher. All the teacher should just say is, okay, I'm sorry.
I mean, but you gotta know when
you think if she said, I'm sorry, you think she still would have fought her?
She's giving me, I'm finna fight the teacher.
Oh my God.
It's just, you gotta know when to
She
use
said the entitlement.
your emotions in certain places, bro. This is just low emotional intelligence. I know something might have happened to her, but sometimes you gotta know this is a college campus. I can't do anything about this right now.
I think she's emotionally unstable, and obviously she's mentally unstable. She's going through some things, and she's having a moment here, which is causing her to just behave in this manner. Obviously, this teacher wants to just go. She wants her to leave. She's not trying to leave. I think, I think she's really mad and won't drop it because the teacher's black and she's black, and she feels some type of way. Is that a wrong? I'm not the kind to play the race card, but I'm.
So as you can see, there's been a drastic change in how they cover racial issues and cover social and political issues. In this video, one of the guys is even saying that it seems like this woman is not well mentally and having a bad day, but the other person is saying that she needs to control her emotions and calling her, saying she has low IQ for emotional intelligence. Again, this is one of the talking points that come out on the right. Besides just black fatigue, they talk about low IQ, low intelligence. So again, he's just hitting home and promoting what I consider possibly propaganda about black people. So in my opinion, I'm unsure if maybe they are being paid by the Republicans or if they are in some way working with conservative groups, because I've seen that they have done interviews with people like Vivek and Charlie, who has passed away. So for some reason, they have now changed their tune. So that's just something I'm keeping my eye on. I'm going to investigate this more and find out why have they changed their tune and why are they on the different side of the political aisle now. And continuing, a lot of you have left comments about the last video where Nick Fuentes talked about Erika Kirk, Charlie Kirk's wife. So a lot of the comments have given me more insight that I didn't know. So I appreciate what you guys have sent, and it caused me to look into some things some more. So here are some clips that my producer pulled up about, I believe about how Erika and Charlie met, and then maybe some things about her family.
Erika Kirk's father is involved with Raytheon Israel. Is that what you're saying?
From what I understand, Erika Kirk's father formed Raytheon Israel's division and was the former chairperson / president. I believe he's retired now, but he was actively involved. Apparently, they didn't meet. Erika didn't say they met, but she said that she saw him. She was on a pilgrimage with her mom. And she saw Charlie and she was like, wow, I want to get to know that guy. And then apparently they met down the road. And as a millionaire, because she owned a clothing line and she also was part of this this Romanian child safety rescue operation. I don't know exactly what it was specifically, but then she decided that she wanted to apply for a job at Turning Point. Her mom, AZ Tech, her dad, AZ Tech International. She's actually on video probably 5-6 years ago, admitting that they moved to Arizona because her mom was working with Homeland Security and the Department of Defense. And her dad apparently was the former chairperson of Raytheon's Israeli division. So there's just a lot of things going on.
Raytheon does have Raytheon Israel Ltd, which is responsible for working with the United States government and the American-based Lockheed and Raytheon and developing these missile defense systems, including the Iron Dome. So Raytheon literally does have Raytheon Israel Ltd, and you're saying that A to Z Tech is involved with this? So Erika Kirk's father is involved with Raytheon Israel? Is that what you're saying?
From what I understand, Erika Kirk's father formed Raytheon Israel's division and was the former chairperson / president. I believe he's retired now, but he was actively involved in that particular operation. From what I understand, also, Charlie Kirk.
Okay, so again, this being a stew clip, I shouldn't have been surprised that Israel came up, but okay, now I'm seeing that Erika came from a family with money, just like Charlie, and then they were in Arizona, and potentially they knew similar people, but the father has a connection to Israel and the American defense. So Stu is bringing that up. So now I'm seeing potentially, and Erika had her own businesses. So I'm seeing that she herself has possibly knowledge about things in politics and knows how to run businesses. But then I'm also seeing where Stu may be going with this. The Israel connection is possibly something he may lean on, saying that being connected to Israel, but then also her family being in defense has something to do with Charlie being assassinated. So this is providing me with a lot of information, but still more questions, you can say, because it's multiple things going on, so multiple things can be at play. Is she capable of running a company? Possibly. She seems to have the intelligence and has a family who has had money and may understand business. But then also the point of Nick's video was Nick was saying, well, she may be behind his murder. Well, Stu is taking it further and saying not only could she be involved, if she's involved, Stu is probably going to be in some way connecting this to Israel. So it's just a lot of different things at play. Currently, I'm about to watch the next clips and maybe I'll learn more about the Israel connection or just more about Erika herself.
This was a woman who was already closely connected to Donald Trump long before she even met Charlie Kirk. And by the way, she met him on one of his trips to Israel. That's important. Did you see the Charlie Kirk memorial service in Arizona where she helped to drive home the narrative that this weirdo, this guy who's in love with a tranny furry, Tyler Robinson, is solely responsible for Charlie's murder and that she forgives him? Watch.
I forgive him.
Yeah. No, I'm not buying that at all. That looks like show business to me. That looks like Hollywood. It looks like a grieving widow, or maybe a not so grieving widow, who has been put up on stage with a script to hammer home the point that Tyler Robinson is undoubtedly guilty. Tyler Robinson's going to go on trial, if he even makes it to trial, having been forgiven by Charlie Kirk's wife. And jurors will know that. So it helps to reinforce his guilt, even though we have absolutely zero legitimate evidence actually linking this guy to that crime. Just grainy surveillance footage, fake text messages, and a transgender furry. And you can rest assured that this fake government will carefully be monitoring the public response to all of this. They're going to be using all of their internet monitoring trolls, all of their surveillance state goodies and technologies, all of their AI spyware, to see what the public reaction is. What are people saying? What they can expect the public reaction to be? How should they play all of this? And if people aren't buying into their story, well, they'll just kill Tyler Robinson. And that's actually the most plausible, most likely scenario. They don't want this guy to go on trial. Do you think that the facts of this case, as they've been presented to us, would withstand scrutiny in a courtroom? There's no real trial to be had. On those fake facts alone, as they've been presented to us, there is nothing to convict this guy of murdering Charlie Kirk, other than this big memorial service and Charlie's wife, Erika, who took to the stage and announced that she forgives Tyler Robinson for murdering her husband, almost like a form of spiritual manipulation to get people to buy into this story even more, to get Christians to buy into this story and pick it up and run with it. And it's obvious that a bunch of Jews have already come swooping in to try to make sure that TPUSA goes in the direction that they want it to go. It was Ben Shapiro that told us, I'm going to pick up Charlie Kirk's bloodstained microphone before Charlie's body was even cold. Turning Point USA, mark my words, now more than ever before is going to be used to champion a Judeo-Christian worldview and gear millions of young Americans towards service to the cabal instead of their own country. This is why our government is actively trying to criminalize people who ask too many questions or cast too much doubt on the official narrative.
Okay, guys, so I don't know if you've seen my eyes kind of roll around in my head, but there's a lot going on. So first we heard about her father being Jewish, part of the defense. Then we found out she had her own business. Then now we're finding out that Trump helped them meet one another. And then we're not finding out, but Stu's implying that based upon what's happening with her and her Jewish connections, he's implying that the TPUSA is about to try to have this big Jewish Christian connection where they push Judeo-Christian values. So again, mostly Stu talks about like anti-Israel stuff. So this is just a narrative he always goes with. It's plausible. For me, I'm just listening and learning about now. I do see the Jewish connection with her family. But again, I also see that potentially this just happens because wealthy people come across one another. So I will be paying attention to see what the TPUSA brand and what message they're pushing moving forward. But when Charlie was alive, he wasn't really strongly anti-Jewish, but at the end, he seemed to be breaking away from Israel. So again, that's what ties into what Stu is saying, that as he started to potentially break away from supporting Israel, something happened to him. So he's saying that if we notice that it becomes more how it was before Judeo-Christian, he will be saying that happened. He will say this, not me. He will be saying it's because Erika or Israel was involved in his murder, and by Erika taking over, now she can help keep the millions of people who were TPSU supporters. They'll continue to support Israel because that's the direction the organization is still going. There's one other clip about her, and I will check that out.
Erika Kirk was introduced to Charlie Kirk through Donald Trump. She had been procured for like Donald Trump's pageants. She won like Miss Arizona or something. She was literally a registered actress and starred in a reality TV show, a romance one at that. He met her on a trip to Israel. Charlie met her on one of these wall humping trips. So the Israeli connections, and then JD Sharp. What was she doing in Israel? Well, she was on a pilgrimage. Okay. Yeah. And then I just learned, JD Sharp, Jason Dick, the founder of Uncensored AI, just told me that her dad, Erika Kirk's dad, is one of the founders or creators of Raytheon Israel Ltd. Raytheon Israel creates the weapon systems and defense systems like the Iron Dome, right, and soaks up trillions of, collectively trillions of U.S. taxpayer dollars over the course of the last, however many decades, billions of dollars annually.
From what I understand, Erika Kirk's father formed Raytheon Israel's division and was the former chairperson / president. I believe he's retired now, but he was actively involved in that particular operation.
That's ridiculous. All of these connections. They had the custody of Charlie Kirk's body in the custody of J.D. Vance aboard some private jet, going to God knows where. And within 24 hours, Erika Kirk is releasing this propaganda video of Charlie Kirk's hand and the rings and the I love you and the crying and the sobbing.
That young man, I forgive him.
She's solidifying the narrative that he's guilty. No matter what, about a court appearance, anything else, that resonated with every Christian because they're supposed to be forgiving. Yeah. And that just subliminally, subconsciously, or very overtly put, he's guilty, he did it, he's responsible, but Erika forgives him. And now she's the champion of TPUSA to come rushing in, building all of these other extensions and satellite, different clubs all over the place.
Well, they're basically trying to build her up to be the next president. They're essentially seeing like, hey, this is a woman that we could set up maybe in 8 to 12 years.
Yeah. Well, they then will be able to just solidify this Judeo-Christian, alliance, and that Israel was great and that Charlie loved the Jews and all these things, while completely disregarding the 5 weeks, leading up to his death, where he began to actually ask about this and point out this occupation.
So, they met in Israel, which is, I wouldn't call it a coincidence, but it's odd, sort of strange to me. But I guess with her having the Jewish ties and him working in politics, as I've said, many politicians are working with Israel. They get money from AIPAC, they get money from other donors, and it seems like many of our politicians have a connection with and travel to Israel. Some are dual citizens. That's something that bothers me. But they met in Israel, and this clip kind of just said more of the same things of the connection between her father and working in defense, and then potentially Erika using the TPUSA organization to push the Judeo-Christian alliance. They met in Israel, and the other video the producer pulled up. Well, before I go into that, if you guys have more information about Erika Kirk, I would be interested in learning more. Stu has been talking about the Jewish aspect, so if you guys know more about her Jewish background or how she's connected to potentially Jewish donors or people who work with Israel, I would be interested in that. Or if you guys just find stuff about their business TPUSA or their personal life. I'm kind of interested in both angles. So whatever information you guys find, please share it. And if I find information, I'll actually pull it up and discuss it in the show, because I am interested in finding out more about her, and also both angles. Like there's the Jewish angle that Stu is really pushing home. I'm not really into like Jewish conspiracies and things. So sometimes when I'm watching this, I just think he's going over and over about the same things. Some of it makes sense, but some of it just seems like innuendo and things you can imply about anyone if you just start digging. Other things are factual though. And the gang, if you guys find out information about Charlie and Erika's personal or business life, that may also give me more insight into TPUSA. So if you guys find stuff, share. If I find stuff, I'll share as well. Moving on to the next video, which is still tied to TPUSA. It's Charlie's most viewed video ever. I had not seen it. I actually want to see how many views it has. 1.7 million views. That's a lot of views. Oh, and they probably mean outside of YouTube. They probably mean just across social media, etc. So this is a video that obviously went viral. So I'm about to check it out and see what the video is about. And I'll let you know my thoughts after it plays.
Do you feel proud of yourself for debating college kids who are unprepared to speak in front of an audience like yourself? Hold on. You're 30 years old. We can agree you're 30 years old, right? Do you think that's a little bit silly?
Are you a voter?
I am a voter. I'm
Oh,
a
so
registered
I
voter.
vote and you vote. So I'm talking to voters of this country that will determine the future of Western civilization. That's what I'm doing here today. Yeah? Wait, hold on. How is it any different than a professor talking to you?
Then a professor talking to you? Who are you?
Well, important enough for you to come up to a microphone.
Actually, when I first saw this ad, I thought it was like an improv comedy thing. It looked so ridiculous that I didn't even think it was real.
Well, no, you could see. Look how popular Trump is on your campus. How does that make you feel? That's not comedy. That is a 5-alarm fire for Kamala Harris, because she's probably going to lose Pennsylvania.
Look.
But no, I just want to be clear. Is there something wrong with talking to voters?
No, there's nothing wrong with talking.
Well, that's what we're doing here today. It's an open mic.
I think that you push a dangerous agenda.
Such as?
Your stance on abortion rights, for example.
Here we go. Okay, so
let me ask a question. What is your name?
Jean.
Jean. And what is your understanding of the current Republican Party's stance on federal intervention in abortion?
Well, I know that they want to bring it back to the states, right?
So it sounds like you do know that the Republican Party's current stance on abortion is they're against a federal ban on abortion.
I do understand.
And we're talking about a
yes.
presidential election as the important election that we're talking about here.
I understand that, yes.
Great. So, again, I think this open dialogue is great. I think it's great you're here challenging Charlie, and I think it's great that he's willing to travel campuses across this country to talk to the next generation. We need more conversation. Now, where's the disagreement, though, on content? Because you could criticize style or why you're talking to people or dunk on someone personally, but where do you actually disagree with the substance?
With the way that you edit content and specifically frame it so that people look bad talking to you. The way that you edit your content.
we post unedited content.
Let me just ask you one thing though, because personal insults can fly in all directions. Where is an area where you have a disagreement with the conservative movement, with Donald Trump, with Charlie Kirk, perhaps with myself? I was a presidential candidate last year. I think we need to talk about that more in the open, and the more we do, the stronger our country is going to be. We got a long line of people, but I want to hear from you one substantive area where you have an authentic disagreement, and I'd be glad to address it. I'm sure Charlie would too.
Just in
anything.
Political.
Relating to any.
So I can definitely see why this is one of the most watched videos. It's very engaging, and both sides are making funny remarks about one another, hurling insults that are clever and witty. But I'll continue to watch. Seems like it's about to get into some substance.
Any political topic where you have a disagreement, let's air it.
Okay. I disagree with some of the laws that are being pushed in Congress that are against the LGBTQ community and the trans community.
Okay, so let's talk about that. I'm going to give you my view, and then I want to hear yours.
Okay.
My view is that if you're a fully grown adult 18 or above, you're free to live how you want, dress how you want, marry who you want if you want, if you're over the age of 18.
I agree.
But you are not free to indoctrinate children in schools who are not yet of the age of consent. You are not free, just as you're a 17-year-old or a 15-year-old can't get a tattoo on their own, I don't think that you should be able to go or until the age of 18. And so the lines that I draw here is that men are free to claim to be women and swim in swimming pools. You're not free to claim trophies in a women's sports competition. You're not free to enter a women's locker room. You're not free to change a language, and you're not free to actually indoctrinate our children who are under the age of 5 in schools. Do we agree on the fact that adults should be able to live freely while still treating children differently? If so, we're on the same side of this issue.
Listen, I agree with the majority of what you said. However, I don't think that you're understanding the implications of the laws that are trying to be passed.
Look, we got a head start in the conversation. We got a long line behind you. But my only ask is, forget the personal attacks or the stylistic attacks. Focus on substance. The more we debate that, the stronger we're going to be as a country. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
I don't think you're focusing on substance, though. That's the issue.
Hold on. Look, he intentionally tried to provoke substance out of you. And you said, well, I'm worried about some laws Congress should pass. I have to ask, what laws are you talking about? Can you be specific?
I'm sorry, I'm very nervous, but this is what you do. This is what you do. You take people and you put them under the spotlight, and you.
Well, hold on. I didn't ask you to come up here. You voluntarily came to the front of the line. You didn't have to do that.
You're purposely antagonizing people on campus, asking
How?
people to come up by spreading your weird agenda.
How? What agenda is that? I'm confused, though.
So, Charlie, I'll say this. We'll end on this and we'll go to the next question. When I was 18, and I'm not going to blame you for this, I also took for granted a lot of the stuff that the media force-fed me, because that's what you know at the age of 18. You say there are some vague laws making their way through Congress that are hostile to trans community.
Know how?
I don't think those laws actually exist, but I don't blame you if that's what the cable media is feeding you. But let's get to the specifics, and then we're able to actually have an open dialogue. And that's one of the things I've learned over the last 20 years.
I think that the issue is we're getting our media from different sources. Both people are getting media from these skewed sources. The facts that you're presenting are not always correct.
And that's why we're here with no TV screens between us. So people who have policy-based substantive disagreements, we invite those. I think that's how we're going to get our country back. And as it relates to trans, which you brought up, 18 or above, you're free to live how you want. You're not free to force that onto somebody else, or especially.
Okay, so when they got into substance of Vivek, who ran for president, I think he may be running for governor or something of Ohio. He spoke about his stance on the transgender community, and he focused on children, saying that people who are above 18 had the right to do what they wanted with their body, which is something that maybe maybe some Republicans don't agree with. But Vivek stated his personal opinion, and he feels like people over 18 have the right to do what they want. But his stance was focusing on minors. He believes that, and he didn't go into the scientific reasons, but he believes that people who are under 18 should not have the right to do things such as change their gender or be given hormones, etc., because he has a problem with it because they aren't of age yet. He believes probably to know what they want in life. They're still, in his mind, maturing. So there's actually been science that's come out as well that has stated that what we already knew is that kids go through puberty. So as young kids, when they're children in schools and you're watching Netflix or watching things, most people probably don't like their kids being taught stuff about sexuality by teachers or by television, because sex is something that, generally speaking, people find personal and are private, and most people want their children to learn about those things from them. So with young children who aren't even 12 yet, that's how I believe most Americans feel. Then even into after adolescence, into high school, because you're still living under the roof of your parents, I believe that a lot of people still also don't want the government or media influences pushing something to their children about sex that they're not comfortable with. So I do see why it's an issue to conservatives and maybe people who aren't conservative. His stance made sense to me. I'm kind of in alignment with that. Again, adults should be able to do what they want. I know it gets murky because maybe some people who are open to that, they may be open to having their kids go through these experiences of having hormonal drugs or having potentially even sex changes at an age under 18. And that's why I say it gets murky, because what he was saying was the children are too young. But then if they're under the custody of their parents, it goes into a slippery slope of like, well, does that mean the parent has the right to allow them to do this? And then it gets murky there, because even though the parent may be okay with it, what if the child changes their mind when they grow up? So it's a lot of unknown things we don't know about it. So just for me, I think that it would be best to wait until people are older to have these kind of things done to them. Not just sex changes, but hormonal things as well, because we don't necessarily know how this affects the brain or how people will be later in life. The topic of transgenders is just really large. So I'll probably have to do a segment on that so I can really tell you guys my thoughts on it. So moving forward into the next clip for the show, my producer pulled up something from Nick. So I'll check that out again. People seem to still be liking some of the Nick clips that are out. And the last one with Erika is doing pretty well. If you run across it, please like or comment if you have something you want to share. This video is Nick talks about the current state of the Trump administration. I want to look at the quote, so since I haven't seen the video yet.
And so when people talk about we got to pressure Trump on Twitter, we got to get our guys in there, we got to, there was like this campaign I talked about with Dave Smith during the transition this year. They said no to Mike Pompeo. We got to tell Trump he can't hire Pompeo. I'm like, aren't you people tired? We did this 10 years ago. We went through all this bullshit. The personnel, everything I'm describing, we went through this the first time. And I talked a lot about this in 2024. It's like it just should have never been like that ever again. It's like Trump should have learned his lesson. He should have only brought people loyal to him into the second, or rather the third campaign. Only brought people loyal to him into the second administration. It should have been Project 2025. And it should have been like everyone's on board. From top to bottom, from Trump down through the State Department, Treasury Department, all the way down to the lowest level guy. It should have been like at least 5,000 Trump hires that were as based and loyal as like a John McEntee. Loyalty tests, ideological tests. Are you America first? Are you loyal to the president? Are you going to support a tariff schedule, ending the wars, deporting everybody? Because if you're not, get out. But it's deja vu. We're playing the same game. And now it's like ICE wants to deport everybody, but Susie Wiles says no. Okay, well, why the fuck is she here? She didn't support Trump through January 6th. She's a lobbyist from South Florida. What business did... But she's bringing her people with her. She runs a campaign. She's a Trump whisperer. She's at Mar-a-Lago, where Trump is in Palm Beach. She's bringing all the spooks from South Florida like Rubio and Waltz and Pam Bondi. Personnel is policy. And so what you have now is that we are entering the second year of the second Trump administration. It shouldn't have even been possible. Like, the guy took a bullet for it to not be like this, for him to just run the table and just do what must be done. I will send the army, I'm Jerusalem. Like, he should have just been able to really transform America, like New Deal style overhaul, and it's not happening. What they're doing is peanuts. Yeah, there's some nice stuff in there, but it's too little, too late. The clock is running out. The midterms are next year. They're playing games. We're doing the same shit. And so I look at stuff like this and I'm like, okay, so they're going to bring in a few hundred Boers or whatever. Like, how about we deport 10 million people? How about we say immigration moratorium? Defy the courts. Do whatever you need to do, but just like make the changes. But we're getting these like peanuts. And I said this last week, and some people, they deliberately misinterpreted it. I said, we're really barking up the wrong tree in a sense, because all Trump is doing now is pissing these people off. What are we really getting out of this? Yeah, we're getting some deportations. It's not terrible, but it's not great. It's not even really good. It's okay. But the Democrats, they think this is the Trumpenreich. Like, they think this is Hitler for real. They think this is the fascist takeover of America. The civil service is being gutted to clear the way, to cancel the elections so that Trump could be dictator for life, and we don't do kings here. Like, they're amped up, and they're shooting people. And, like, they think this is Avengers Endgame. They think it's the Handmaid's Tale. They think they're going to chop Thanos' head off. So here's the thing. If you're not serious, if you have subversion from within again, you don't even control your own team, if you're doing not enough, but you're pissing off the enemy and they are taking it deadly serious, you're just barking up the wrong tree. What are we doing other than pissing these people off and daring them to kill us now?
Okay, so this is kind of showing a rift that's I've noticed on X between the Republican Party. Nick is more extreme. He's very conservative. They call it the alt-right. So I've heard about Project 2025, and what Nick is saying is that based upon Trump almost being assassinated, being shot at, and then also him winning the popular vote and the electoral college, he believes that Trump should have had a mandate, and the Republicans have the House and the Senate and the executive branch. Nick believes that Trump should be able to put a moratorium on immigrants coming, but also that he should have the power to change taxes and transform the government as he sees fit. So Trump wants to potentially cut government programs, overhaul the federal government, get rid of bureaucrats. They've got rid of some people either through firing or offering them severance packages because they want to, Republicans want to limit the government. So they've limited the government in some ways. When Elon was at Doge, they tried to work on government waste. So it's actually many things that Trump has been doing, but Nick is saying that they haven't gone far enough. So the Democrats believe that all of the things Trump has been doing signal that he's doing too much. He's going too far. They call him a fascist. I don't. They compare him to Hitler. I don't. They're saying he's has too much power that he's using in the executive branch. Again, Nick wants Trump to go even further. Now, during the video where I had to kind of catch myself from just pausing it and reacting was Nick said Trump should be able to go against the courts. So in America, we have three branches. We have the legislative branch, House and Senate. They make the rules, right? They come up with the rule. They get voted in by the people. Then they come up with the laws and they vote on the laws. And when they pass through both houses, they become law. So the executive branch mostly is supposed to be used for foreign defense and like helping with big social programs like welfare, etc. That's the power that the executive branch has. Again, the legislature is supposed to control the bills and the laws and what happens in our day-to-day lives. We're able to vote on those people every 2 years for the House and then every 6 years for the Senate. And then what the judiciary branch is supposed to do is they're supposed to watch both branches and make sure those branches don't break away from amendments and things that are already in the Constitution, as well as make sure they follow the existing laws. So they call it the three branches and its checks and balances. Each branch is supposed to watch and monitor the other two branches to make sure one doesn't get too powerful. So currently, the Democrats are worried that Trump is too powerful. So the courts have been, people have been bringing lawsuits against the Trump administration. And Trump has also been bringing lawsuits against the states, as both the states and the federal government sometimes don't agree. And the judicial branch has to decide, well, what's acceptable? What is legal? What can be done under the Constitution? So I disagree with Nick because I think that the way our government was set up, it was to stop kings. And I'm not calling Trump a king. And it was supposed to stop kings and just not oligarchs, but groups or people becoming too powerful. So right now, the Republicans have the power. Trump has the power. And I think the courts are doing the right thing by hearing the cases. You hear them first in the local courts. Then they hear them in the appeals court. And then if they can't decide between the local court and the appeals court, they go to the Supreme Court, which most people know has the 9 judges. So I think that the government and the system that we have set up, though it's tedious and though both sides don't always win, I think it's set up as best as any society we have. So I don't have a problem with the courts monitoring Trump and sometimes voting against him, because sometimes they vote with him, but sometimes they vote against him. And I think it would be wrong of Trump to go against the judicial branch, because then he would be proving the Democrats right. If we ever have a president who doesn't follow the rule of law that goes from either and or the House and Senate or the judicial branch, I believe they're acting as a dictatorship, fascist, monarchy, etc. And I believe we can't have that in American politics. So again, this time I agree with some of what I didn't agree with what Nick said. I just understood where he was coming from. He's more conservative than Trump and the mainstream Republicans, so he wants more. A lot of the conservative base does want more. But then I also think the reason why I don't support the alt-right is because they go too far. So I believe that some of the things Nick wants are too extreme, and him saying go against the judiciary branch, I believe, is illegal. So there were not probably. We saw a few comments yesterday, so we are going to get to them today. Oh, these come recently within the last few hours. I appreciate the support, guys. Continue to let us know what you want us to cover and send us links to things that you want us to discuss on the show, or if you just want us to know more. Ronaldo Olivares. Olivares 9361. This is to the government shutdown. Just got a lot longer. You sound like you must like being broke. Never said I was broke. And at the mercy of the Democrats. I'm not at the mercy of the Democrats. I don't even always vote Democratic. I'm a libertarian. Currently, libertarians fall in the Republican Party. I believe in less government control and more civil rights and civil liberties for all Americans. I want us to kind of try to follow the Constitution that was as it was written, but certain big amendments like freedom of speech we need, the 14th Amendment, which, freed the slaves, people of my complexion. I think obviously those things were beneficial. So I think we can move forward, but the basic framework that the founders created, I think it was correct. And not to go off on a tangent, but people know that the founders of America created the Constitution, but people don't know that some of the things in our Constitution come from the Native Americans. The Native Americans, I forget which tribe, had a republic form of government. They talked to our founders, and our founders came up with some of our ideas and some of our laws. I think it was the Iroquois. Matter of fact, I'm sure it was the Iroquois Confederation that our founders talked to the Iroquois and based some of their representative government that we currently have in America was based upon the structure and civilization of the Iroquois Indians. So shout out to the Iroquois out there. I have another one from... This is from Nick Fuentes. Is very suspicious of Erika Kirk. It's from Myron Bragg 9319. Personally, I agree with Nick, not so rudely, but with the belief in the Christian life, the female role is to run the home. She has two small children that need her, especially now. These children had her 24/7. Now she is running a large operation. Anyway, this is my opinion. Plus, Charlie's main followers are mostly young males. Male followers that are hoping to hear how their life can be of purpose. So there's a few things to unpack here. They agree with Nick. They think he's rude. So I agree with Nick 50-50, but he is rude at times. They're saying that the kids lost their father, but also now they're losing their mother, not losing her to death, but losing time with her because she's stepping into the role of running an organization. So yes, I do see how the kids have lost one parent and now they're even potentially seeing the mother less because she's stepping into more of a leadership role in the business. Based upon knowing she has a family who ran businesses and she had her own business, she's probably capable of running the business, it seems. She's qualified, but I do see how that it could potentially be affecting the children. And then they also touched upon the fact that she's a woman. So Charlie's followers are conservative, so they look at women as, not all conservatives, but some conservatives look at women as a gender and a group of people who should be at the home handling the home duties and doing things around the house. So that may not align with some of the male conservative followers in TPUSA. But I think TPUSA also has women followers and women supporters. So, I mean, this can go either way. Maybe some of the men won't like it, but maybe it could bring more females to the conservative and Republican ideology. So it could go either way. I have two more. This is both of them to Nick Fuentes is suspicious of Erika Kirk. Look at the ghost. Israel is responsible and his wife and everyone else that benefits from his death is not a single person. Okay, so this is saying kind of along the lines of what Stu was going at. Maybe the wife was involved like Nick said, but maybe also Israel is involved because her dad worked with Israel, has connections to, he's Israeli. I don't know if he's Israeli, but he has connections to Israel in defense. So it's potential that she was used for Israel to get rid of Charlie, who was was starting to go against Israel somewhat. It's plausible. I don't know how true it is, but it's something that Nick has said and Stu has also said. And then the last one is Doc Jenny 90. The timestamp for almost 4 minutes. Chuck was a goofy guy. Not good looking, awkward, and misogynistic, okay? She's gorgeous and quite smart, okay? She's probably pro Erika, it sounds, and maybe against Nick. So there's a disconnect. She also came from money, so it's not it's not she was desperate or anything. I live here in Arizona and no, it's just bizarre. Yeah, it's a little bizarre. Like, his murder is bizarre. How they met is not necessarily bizarre. As I've said, I can see how wealthy people come across each other in certain circles. They mentioned that she was in pageants. So Charlie could have come across her that way. They mentioned that her dad was working with Israel and was connected to defense. They could have, I know Trump introduced them, but what I'm just saying is that they were in circles and these circles cross paths. So it's, yes, they were set up, but it also makes sense why they were set up. They're in similar circles, so it's not, I don't think it's bizarre that they came across one another or that someone set them up. We appreciate you guys' comments. We appreciate you guys hitting the like. If you like this episode, please subscribe. If you like the show in general, because some people have watched episodes then watched others, we appreciate it. If you like this episode or other episodes, please share with your friends and let them know that this is a community that we're building, and we're loving talking to you guys, and we hope to learn more from you guys, and I hope that I'm able to teach you guys as well. As you guys see, I'm open to learning things. This time I didn't get a lot of negative comments, so maybe people are seeing I'm not attacking anyone. I'm not attacking Nick. I'm not attacking Erika. I'm really just about questions and finding answers to those questions. So if you guys have questions, please present them to me, and I will continue following these varying stories and sharing my opinion. See you guys tomorrow. Blacks, Hispanics, and whites can't read. Why you think I started a podcast? It's a fucking racist thing with you niggas, and that's why I'm coming at you niggas next. They love to talk about black violence. Have you heard of white violence? White people commit violent crime at 3 times the rate of Asians. When is Nick Fuentes gonna talk about white violence? Everybody's arguing about their 2 genders. I sat next to a hermaphrodite in math class. Am I allowed to talk about the Jews? If she wanted, we could do it in the morning. Yawning, letting my eyes stretch, baby, I ain't a novice. I've been a dog, she FaceTime, but I never